Okay, hi everyone. This is a male torso I have received, and we will add hands and head to this model. So first of all, it had subdivision levels. I have removed them. So this was the highest subdivision level at about 500,000, and I was using geometry delete lower to delete everything that's below, because cutting, welding usually prefers to have no subdivision levels on the go. What I will use, if you want and you have the hands, head, and leg prepared for this, you can skip, look for the chapters. If not, we can open up the ZBrush project file, one of the project files. But before we do that, let me hit Ctrl S and save this to the folder, and male figure, and this will be male fig fix. Okay, and save it, and let me open up with a comma key, looking for the male ZPR model. No, we don't want to save this particular project. Yes, this is a project that's coming with ZBrush, and perspectivity turned on, and it has subdivision levels. Let me delete the lower subdivision level. Even if we have deleted all of those, we have this high resolution, and this high resolution is even lower than the 500,000, so it is absolutely doable to have a full body with 500,000 polygons relatively in good quality. Okay, as a base mesh at least. So what we have here, what we want to do is to split this up a bit. We need the hand, head, and the legs. So I'm holding down Control and masking. And once there is masking, we can go to Subtool and split masked points. And now we have the head as a separated model. Okay, so if we expose, we have it there. Okay, well, we'll do the same thing with the hands and the legs. We don't need symmetry in here. It's easier to work with only one leg when we have to adjust so many things. So yeah, it's nice and clean. It's pretty self-explanatory. So split mask points. Now we have leg and head. And selecting the head, in this case it's a little bit different, because mask lasso is better because we have an angle here. So I will cut through here in a somewhat larger diameter, but I guess it's good in this direction. But here, watching from the side, it is a little bit angled. So I'll hold on Control Alt and make a correction and try to cut this a little bit more horizontally. Alright, I think this looks good. And split mask points. Good. And we don't want to have the basic body. Let me delete that guy. So male model, deleted. And we have this one, and we need it as a tool. So saving as a tool and not a project, because we have our own project. We have that male body already. So save as, and save as body parts tool. I have this name already. Padding in, yes, replace. And here we go. Now it's time to open up the project. Now I don't want to save it. Male figure fix in my case, and that is the project. And good. And what I will do is I will use the Z plugin, and within the Z plugin we'll subtool master and multi-insert. So multi-inserts body parts tool will help me to reach my goals, that we have body parts loaded into the scene. Okay, so they are there, but they're just tiny. Okay, so we'll have to fix this. Now, when you want to weld things together, you usually want to make sure that everything is set to a somewhat level of scale. So the body is selected, and I'm hitting on deformation unify, and it snaps it down, and now we have a better sizing. This unify is a really valuable thing to use with ZBrush, because if it's correct in size, it's easier to work with the model in ZBrush, because of all the brush sizes and all the things. These are depending on how big or small a model is. Okay, so first of all, just let me select the male head, press W and holding down Alt, and I will turn off symmetry, because it is a little bit easier to snap to dead center if we have symmetry off. I'm holding Alt, clicking on the relocation, and pulling this up, and pulling, and just going in. And yes, it's funny, scale, it's just too much. I think this should be okay. Good. Q, let me see that. Alright, it will fit in general. I think it will fit. Good. And then just now managing to fit the body parts. So let me go higher, higher, and higher. Alright, this is the highest. Then the body, here comes the hand. W on hand is not using symmetry, just holding Alt and tapping on relocation, and I'm holding down the Alt key and moving away freely the gizmo, rotating it away to match with the body part, and then I will be able to move and position it a little bit better. So there are some issues with the body. Can you see how now it's a little bit distorted? But I don't care at this stage yet. It doesn't matter now. First, we just have to understand the sizes, proportions, how this hand should be placed, and then we can cut off some unwanted parts. Okay, the overall length, it looks really long here. So what I will do is just checking this. Alright, angle. I think it's fairly good. Now, just before we are going crazy about this, let me select the body and choose and use a knife. For that, Control Shift, clicking on, and knife curve, the brush I'm looking for. If you don't see it in the top, then you will see it in here. And let me hide away the body part, and male torso is selected. Actually, we have symmetry on, but right now I will just drag and try to cut this off. Okay, right, good. Let me turn this back on. I think it is a little bit cleaner now. It's a little bit easier to manage and see the things. Good. And same thing with the leg. So I will do the same thing with the leg. Selecting the leg. W, holding down Alt, relocating it, holding down Alt, lifting this up. This is also the center of scaling, so this is why I like to move it around and just drag, and probably this is the widest area of the leg. Here we go. And I'm looking for the length, first of all, length. Okay, it is looking promising. We can adjust it afterwards too, but in general it looks good. Now I will just select the body. Here's the body, and hold Ctrl and Shift and cut it up. If we are using Ctrl Shift and using the space as well, we can move this cutting tool. And here we go. Good. Alright, so this model is, I don't know why, but we have no caps. Is it true that the hand has caps? Or is it, yeah, it was, I guess it was something going on. So geometry, modify topology, and close holes. So now we have that. And select the legs. We have solo mode on, pressing F, and close holes. Good. And the same thing with the hat. So in that case, there was something missing here. So close holes. Okay. Good. And here's the male torso. And now let me leave solo mode so everything is visible. Now, before we are welding, of course. So this is kind of a preparation at the very first stage, and we need to fix the joints, and then we will make the welding. Okay, so here comes now fixing the joints, the meeting area. So I will select the body, and only the body in solo mode. So I will cut this flush. So Ctrl Shift and drag. You can see the shadow is pointing upwards, so that means the top part will be removed. And setting back, and here's the head, and the head. Let me leave solo mode, and I will select the body and use the BMV brush to just kind of massage this thing to meet as good as possible. So it don't needs to be perfect, but you know, if it's good, it's better. Cleaner joint. All right. So nice intersections. Okay, this was one joint, one and done. Here's the other thing. I will push this side in. So I'm holding Alt and move to push it in. Yes, here we go. Push it in. Actually, I think this part should be pulled. Okay, I will leave it as it is now. Using some smooth. We will fix it up later. Okay, but that's in general, that's good. And here's the leg now. So leg. And moving away things. So I know this calf looks a little bit odd in shape, but right now the most important thing is to just kind of prepare this for a nicer welding. Okay, just it's easier to fix it now than afterwards. That's it. Okay, so here we go. We have the model. Everything looks great. It's time to weld. Okay, so right away, because it is set to union, so union here, everything's union, we just have to turn on live Boolean. So look for the key, live Boolean. Now it's active, so it will recognize these elements as part of the game. And to actually perform live Boolean, we have to go to Subtool, and in Subtool we have Boolean, and hit Boolean Mesh. Okay, so hit Boolean Mesh. And it will calculate things. In the top left row, you can see that union remeshing is in progress, and we have about 500,000 polygons now. So it will take some time, but it will be good. And as you see, it is done. So here's a U-mesh model now, U-mesh. And we have the hands and we have everything welded. So let me show this to you. So even if there is a difference in resolution, it is welded nicely. Now you can't sculpt on this model yet. Okay, so we need to fix this further. We need to fix symmetry. We want to have the other hands as well, but soon we will get to there. Okay, so here we are. Let me save this file. And just mail fix, save it, yes. And what we do want is geometry and modified topology and mirror and weld. So I'm not 100% sure, but let me see that. And yes, everything was centered, so we had no issue. If you have issue, you should check that lock-on symmetry may be turned on, and you want to try without lock-on symmetry, mirror and weld. Or you have something completely off, then you can move and try to move the figure, or you know, just clean up and carefully delete if you have residue polygons on one side, for example. That may happen, but 90%, 99% this mirror and weld can fix the problems. If not, you can offset a little bit and try local symmetry even. All right, so here we go. We have a relatively good clean mesh. It's high in density. We have to rebuild this, but before we are rebuilding, before we are using ZRemesher to rebuild high and low resolutions that used for sculpting, I will fix this. Now, how to fix this? we should choose a B clay buildup brush, for example, and choose Sculptris. Now, if I'm holding down the Shift key and start smoothing out, this is what Sculptris does. It is actually recalculating the mesh on the fly. Okay, let me make it a little bit easier in the eyes. Shift M, so magnify, and I will turn off fill in the polyframe. So now you only see the mesh, and it's a little bit easier. So we don't want to modify the topology at all on these areas. So this is where the brush touches the model. There, Sculptris Pro works there and only there. So I'm using Shift key and smoothing up things, and here I'll fix this, build up a bit, and fix. So we had a cavity there that here's some issue. So let me hold down Shift key, and there you go. Here it is. Okay, it's hard to reach the area, but yeah, smooth it out. Fill this a bit. Good. So in general, we have this fill. We can use a BFA flattened brush and flatten this area. So if it's too much, we can use this BFA flattened brush. Rotating around and looking for that. So same thing here. So you can use a smooth Sculptris smooth. It's helping a lot. Okay, this is too much. They're typical bodybuilder elbows, but usually it's just too much. There, okay, we have no symmetry, so I will duplicate. I was not turning on symmetry, but I will do at the neck. So X, and just using smooth, practically nothing else, just using smooth and going all around. And Sculptris Pro do the job, does it. There you go. Okay, fixing the legs, and this is a flattened brush, so it's good if we have some peaks here and there. Flattened brush can help, and clay brush is usually good for filling up cavities. And Shift, and you know, because we have it welded with the Boolean, Sculptris Pro can recognize it as a single model, so it will recalculate it easily. Now, yeah, so we have a fairly good fixed mesh. The shapes still need some work, but for now, because I was not turning on the mirror at the hands, I will use mirror in Weld, and this side is mirrored to the opposite. So always, this is the side in ZBrush that will be flipped towards this side. And here we go. Okay, so now we have a mesh we can follow. So if you had body parts previously, now you have a single mesh. But this mesh has mixed density. So we have lower density, higher density, and it's hard to pose, it's hard to paint. It is not ideal, but it's a good as a shape. It is a good starting point. So to get a better results, we want to recalculate with ZRemesher. So now I will do a rename that original. Okay, so this is our base mesh, and I will duplicate this guy and rename that as ZRemesher. So here we go, and where is it? So ZRemesher is here. You should know that you must turn on X if you want to have a symmetrical model. And let me turn off Sculptris and calculate ZRemesher. Now, this 5 value is great for a body. Okay, so if you have just a head, 2 is fair enough. If you have just a hand, feet, 1.5, whatever, it's good enough. But for a full body, 5 is absolutely ideal. So let me hit ZRemesher and wait for the completion of this recalculation. Alright, soon we'll be there. Okay, so it's 12,000. let me isolate it, solo mode, and see what it does. Right, it's good. It's really promising. Now this low resolution, so this is a relatively low resolution in sculpting Word. Okay, it's not in game Word, it's not low resolution that much, but in sculpting Word it is. And it's good for posing and everything else. So this is our base, but we want to have higher resolution to create skin details and other things, and veins and pores and whatever. So for that, we will increase the subdivision level. The original model had this about slightly above 500,000 polygons. So what we have at the ZRemesher at this stage, we should definitely increase the resolution. Now, this is when I'm pressing Ctrl D and subdividing the model. Now, let me turn off Shift F, and we are in solo mode, and the original model is active but not visible. So let me leave solo mode. Here's the original model, here's the ZRemesher, so both of them are visible. In the subtool area, we have project, and I have one. I've just used it to build one subdivision. So the first subdivision was generated by the ZRemesher. Then I pressed Ctrl D. Now we have two subdivisions, and this is the stage when I'm going to subtool and look for project and project all, and hitting on project all. So this newly generated level now is wrapped and picking up the details and the poly paint if we have of the original model. So we're using it as a base, the original, and ZRemesher model as a new ground level 1, and then Ctrl D and project all. What I will do, I'll press again Ctrl D. Now we have 50,000. I'm pressing again Ctrl D. Now it's about somewhat close to 200,000, and I will do this project all again. So project all again, projecting mesh details. Now we have more and more details available. Okay, so this was good. We can go one step further. It's not, I don't think it is a necessity, so I will not do that. Instead of it, I will go and turn off the original model and see this one for myself. So here we are. You can see there's not much welding going around. All right, so this is a nice single mesh. Can you see Shift D? This is an evenly, there's no trace of welding or cutting or anything like that. Now how to fix things. Here we have some jagginess, or let me say, here's this cavity at this low resolution. So what I did, I was using Shift D to walk down. Now I can't walk down anymore because this is the lowest level. This is subdivision 1. I can use a BMV move brush or a smooth brush and just make some corrections here. So I'm just pulling this out a little bit. Usually, ideally, the tricep is bigger in size than the bicep. It's depending on the training, but for pushing movements, the tricep is really an important muscle. So let me pop this shoulder a little bit more. It's just personal, pushing this a little bit back, and it's these rounded shoulders could be interesting in 3D if you're looking at it from different angles. So we're looking for that. Probably this should be a little bit higher. Yep, and we're looking for a silhouette. So you can use the thumb to really look for the silhouette. But that's it in general, so I don't want to go any that deeper. But when we are raising the level up, so I'm pressing D, and we have details coming out, we can work on those details. So now I'm saving the model. So we can work, for example, in this stage, this is a little bit too much, so let me smooth this out. And if we want, we can add undo. Yeah, but switching. Okay, so we can add more and remove and adding depending on the resolution or level we are. So if you want to have adding wrinkles like BDS, Debian Standard for example, and you want to create some striations around here, oh, it's too much. intensity just a little bit, lower. Sculpting it in, just adding. Here could be a cut, and here usually there's some undercuts. And so this is what you can do at a higher level. But when you're walking down, Shift D, and you want to inflate, for example, the chest muscles, you can use BIN, the inflate brush, adding onto this. So now it's really, I'm just exaggerating, so there's no point in doing this. But let me go back D in the subdivision level and can see how we are getting back our details. Alright, so Shift D, walk down, make your changes. So I'm using that Alt key and removing some of the air of the muscle, and pressing D again and look at the final result. So we're going back and forth. Some things are better to be done on the lower level, for example, like moving, inflating, smoothing out things, correcting the shape. For example, here we have some lumpiness around the buttocks. So Shift D, smooth it out a little bit. D, and adding with inflate, adding some volume, and using Shift, and then D again to reach a higher level, and then we can polish that up. Alright, so that's the method to weld things, and that's the reason we want to weld, because we want to have subdivision levels at the end for posing, for refining, and be able to walk up and down to create skin level details and main volumes and forms. Alright, thank you, goodbye.